Imagine you're having coffee with a friend and you witness a car crash right in front of you. In fact, let us show you a clip right now. Pay attention.
Keep watching. Everything you see is fair game.
Watch out for the car! Cut!
You are now an eyewitness, and I will ask you some questions about the accident. What color was the car that got hit? Did you say blue? That's correct. And how fast was the car going when it bumped the other car? How about how fast was the car going when it smashed the other car? Do you think that the difference in language used, say smashed versus bumped, makes a difference in the way you might answer the question? Psychologist Elizabeth Loftus wondered about that. In fact, what we just did is based on an actual study that she and John Palmer conducted in 1974. They were interested in the reliability of eyewitnesses' memory of an event, and this study was the beginning of many studies on human memory that Loftus has conducted since. Oh, and by the way, yes, language can indeed influence the way you answer those questions. Usually when people hear bump, they report a lower speed. When they hear smashed, they report a much higher speed. Weird, right? So back to Loftus. Who is she and how did she get involved in studies like the one we mentioned? Let's start from the very beginning. Loftus was born on October 16, 1944 in California. She was interested in math and enrolled at the University of California, Los Angeles as a mathematics major. But after taking a class in psychology, she realized that she didn't like all of math. So she ended up graduating from UCLA with a double major in math and psychology. She then entered Stanford University, where she earned a master's and a doctoral degree in mathematical psychology. She first started her research work on storage and retrieval information from long-term semantic memory. Her interest in memory and her desire to make her research more socially relevant led her to accept a position at the University of Washington. There, her childhood interest in crime came quite in handy, so she started researching memory distortion, which has now left remarkable marks in history. After the car accident study, she grew more interested in this line of work and continued to explore it. She searched how leading questions could change one's memory and how post-event information can be added to the original memory even when the information is wrong. So she came up with the term misinformation effect. Studies about the misinformation effect follow this way. First you witness an event, then you're fed a post-event information, and then get tested on what you can remember. What the researchers look for is how the post-event information influences what the participant can remember. So she started consulting with attorneys about the real-world context of her research and even worked on some legal cases with them. After many studies and looking at a variety of variables about the misinformation effect, she decided to focus on something a little different. When in the 90s, psychologists were drawn into the idea of repressed memories and were leading their clients into bringing back these repressed memories, Loftus disagreed. Her research on false memories led her to conclude that the psychoanalysis work on repressed memories was not valid. She disagrees that repressed memories exist and believes that instead there are false memories or misinformation effect. One study that helped her come to the conclusion is the Lost in the Mall study. Participants would be told that they had been lost in a mall when they were a child, and this had been a very emotional, distressing experience for them, but they had been reunited with their family. They were told that the lost in a shopping mall story was given by someone in their family in order to make them believe it, and indeed, they adopted the belief and sometimes even added other details to it. Other researchers replicated the study with other variables, and this led her to believe that something similar may be happening with psychotherapists and their clients. Then she switched gears to researching whether these false memories or false beliefs can affect later intentions and behavior. Thus, she would tell participants that they had gotten sick by eating a certain food, for example, a boiled egg or pickles, and they later reported less desire to eat a boiled egg or pickle, even if they were hungry. So did she achieve her goal of researching topics with social relevance? She did so indeed. With Elizabeth Loftus' knowledge and expertise in psychology, cognitive psychology, and psychology of law, she was able to change how people viewed psychology and the human perspective on memory. She was able to change the way that interrogations happen and the way that eyewitness testimonies have in court. Interrogations and any questioning in the law enforcement field can be filled with leading questions and false information, which can then affect testimonies and confessions in a negative way. She has been able to show what was done wrong and influence what needs to be done right. Loftus's work can be seen as a great example of how psychology can make real changes in the world. Because of her work with the criminal justice field, it seems like people are more likely to accept psychology as an important and valuable field in general. Therefore, through her, the public has created more positive attitudes about psychology. Like many pioneers in their respectful fields, Loftus has also faced a lot of criticism. She was at Stanford. She was one of the very few female graduate students and was highly misunderstood. They voted her less likely to succeed as a psychologist and assumed that she would have to get a new career. Due to her debunking the repressed memories of abuse, she has been called evil, opportunistic, and an enemy of children and women. She has dealt with great hostility by actual abused victims and clinicians through threatening letters, complaints about violating ethical standards, angry emails, a lawsuit, and even physical attacks when she was once swatted by a newspaper by an airplane seatmate. She has also been criticized by fellow researchers who claim that her evidence appears to be one-sided and unreliable in cases of alleged sexual harassment. She might even have the ability to deceive jurors. Regardless of the criticism, she continues her work, for which she has also got many praise in the form of awards. The list of awards is very long and reflects decades of work. Some of the awards include Distinguished Contribution Award from the American Academy of Forensic Psychology, the Howard Crosby Warren Medal from the Society of Experimental Psychologists, the Gold Medal Award for Lifetime Achievement in the Science of Psychology from the American Psychological Foundation, and she was elected to the Royal Society in Edinburgh. This is some of many more. Loftus stands as one of the most highly cited contemporary psychologists and the most highly cited woman psychologist. Just since 2015, she has been cited more than 1,600 times. Others continue to build their research based on her work. Just recently, in 2019, Humanath et al. Extended Loftus' work on the misinformation effect. Findings in Loftus' work continue to provide the basis for memory research as well as experimental and applied forensic psychology. For example, following Loftus' research on unreliable eyewitness testimony, Marley et al. 2019 found that law enforcement procedures in which line of construction paralleled the way the original event was encoded in the eyewitness's memory had the potential to increase eyewitness accuracy. Loftus's work continues to have a considerable influence in areas of psychology like cognitive psychology and forensic psychology. Most recently, even psychology of fake news, dieting, and voting behaviors. She has also been interested in exploring the role of individual differences in false memories. The findings suggest that there is no memory trait and that all people, regardless of individual differences, are equally susceptible to false memories. Apparently, false memories don't discriminate. Most recently, she was on the Harvey Weinstein case. She appeared on the defense team and was set out to explain how memory can change itself over time. Although Loftus was not allowed to speak on memory involving sexual interactions, she clarified that several factors could contribute to distorted or completely fabricated memories, including certain methods in counseling, law enforcement questioning, and media reporting. Just like before, she received criticism, and her appearance on this case generated some controversy. Besides her appearance on legal cases, Loftus continues to give presentations on the fallacies of memory around colleges and universities, and her work is being taught in psychology courses across the country. She has appeared in several TED Talks, recorded presentations, and periodical writings, while she tries to make her research more accessible to a variety of the audiences. She has also continued her work on the planning memories of healthy food choices and in alcohol intervention developments. Her interest in fake news and memory led her and colleagues to study the tendency of developing false memories on political issues. They showed participants 6 campaign-focused news stories, fabricated and authentic, and they found that nearly half the participants reported at least one false memory regarding the stories. Elizabeth Loftus and her colleagues recently conducted a study on how cannabis can affect the creation of false memories. They gave half the participants cannabis and the other half some placebo, and then through virtual reality simulation, they either witnessed a crime or committed a crime themselves. Participants were then asked about what had happened through leading questions. They found that those intoxicated with cannabis were more prone to reporting false memories of the events than those who had taken a placebo. With the widespread use of cannabis, law enforcement may have difficulties in obtaining truthful witness statements from these individuals. Elizabeth Loftus' work has not been lost in history to this day, and as you watch this video, she continues to shape history.